Welcome, everybody. We are recording now. This is something that we always do with all of our workshops so that we can be sure that anyone who wasn't able to join us or who comes late gets full access to all of the content. Thanks, everyone who joined us today. This is the workshop that we hope will be kind of an introduction to a lot of our new graduate students or old graduate students to some of the things that you can look for at the library. If you prefer, you can certainly keep your cameras off since we are recording. Erin, is there anyone in the room that we should be aware of?
Yeah, there's someone who has joined us in person, which is great.
Welcome, welcome.
Is the screen all right with the screen, the slides? Is everyone seeing those okay?
I see them. Do you want to click to the next one? So welcome again. My name is Brianna Hughes. I am one of our research and instruction librarians. I'm also the graduate student services librarian. I am at home, but my colleague Erin, who is going to introduce herself in a minute, is holding down the fort in person at the library. Erin, you're muted if you're trying to talk to us.
So my name is Erin Durham-Wright. I work mostly with humanities, but I do enjoy doing this workshop with Brianna. So it's good to be here. Thank you. If you want to share maybe what you're studying, or if you can put that in the chat, that would be great. It's just sometimes helpful for us to know what background you're coming from.
So I am a fourth-year PhD student in the Department of Information Systems, and my area of research is health information technology.
Yeah, okay, that's relevant. And then anyone in the chat, feel free to share. So we have someone from ESOL, that's great. A few more will probably roll in. Awesome. Certificate in project management. Great. And we realize there's people in PhD programs, there's people doing certificates. The range of grad programs is so varied, and that's really good. Brianna, as the graduate student services librarian, works with kind of broadly all the grad students. And then I support this workshop, but I also tend to work a lot with the humanities and social sciences specifically. And it looks like there's a PhD student in doing research in AI and information systems. So super relevant. That's great. Well, welcome. You feel free to keep putting on your areas of research and study, and I'll turn the time to Brianna.
Great. So for those of you who have never been to the library, you might not know where we are or what the building looks like, but that tall building with the circle at the top of it in the middle of that picture there, that's the library. It's pretty hard to miss. Our website is library.umbc.edu, and that's where you can go to get access to all of our virtual resources, as well as to learn more about some of the in-person services and resources that we offer. Our homepage is also a great place to think of it as a portal to using all of the research databases and OneSearch. So it's definitely a good search site to bookmark and have quickly available to you. This is a list, like a broad list of some of the resources that we have access to at the library in person. Over 1 million books, hundreds of thousands of ebooks. We have at last count over 450 different online databases, millions of online journal articles. And then, of course, the librarians are on hand to help with research. A lot of these things are also available virtually to you, like the ebooks, like the librarians, the journal articles. So a lot of this stuff is available both in person and online. And then these are some of the resources that you could access at the library. So a lot of our study spaces, you can reserve them online, but then you visit them in person. The Retriever Learning Center is our 24/7 study space. It's actually also one of the only places on campus that is open 24 hours a day, 365 days a year. So even when there's closure on campus for snow, the Retriever Learning Center is always open. You can also access lockers, borrow laptops, access our desktop computers and use those, use our software, all sorts of things. All of that is available in person and on our website.
Yeah, so again, these are just screenshots of what you might see on the website. There's the study spaces. Those are for group study or just single individual study. Welcome. So we have a few more people joining us in the room, which is fantastic. Anyone who's just joining us, we have cookies and chips and we have pizza. Please feel free to sign in and just grab, please take lots of pizza. We have lots of pizza. It's good that you're here. And again, this is the Graduate Student Services workshop as an overview. So feel free to book study spaces. As Brianna mentioned, there is the 24/7 space as well. So if there's a campus closure, that space is open. You can go there and study. You'll just need to swipe in with your UMBC ID. So. Lockers. So if you are lugging books around and you just want a place to put your things or your laptop while you're shuffling around campus, feel free to take a locker. There's some for daily use, but also you can check one out for the whole semester and just have that as your stop-in space. The library is a little out of the way from the rest of campus, so that's the way that you can kind of make it a hub if you want to. And laptop loans. These are really popular. There's definitely a wait list, but if in a pinch you need like a Chromebook really quickly, we almost always will have a Chromebook you can just pick up for a few hours. We also have MacBooks and Dells. Sometimes it requires you to make a reservation for it though. And then just to put on your own laptop and computer, UMBC provides a lot of software. So again, you can see what the library has access to, and then you can also see what's available for you to download on your own computer. I always like to go to the DoIT site and take a look. Oh. So you can do things, here we go, there we are. So there's a whole list of what's available to students, and you can download it and keep it on your own machine. There's also the Digital Media Lab. This is kind of located just diagonal from us here in person in the library. If you are wanting to know and you're online, if you visit the library, you would just go to the second floor and look for signs for the Digital Media Lab. And there is space for you to check out equipment like really nice cameras or video equipment. There's some really high-end editing, film editing, software editing, softwares that you can use in the actual room. And then they have a green room if you want to do some filming or if you want to do some audio recording. There's a whisper space. So just a couple things to know about that. And then new as of last year, there's the Innovation Lab, which is just on the first floor as you walk in to the library. There's a checkout desk on your left, and the Innovation Lab just is next to it. 3D printers, 3D scanners, laser cutters. And you can also get assistance from the IT folks. If you have questions about using any of those or you want to try out using a 3D printer, they're happy to help. There's also a whole gallery. So if you just want to take a stroll through, they have fantastic exhibits. They switch out every semester. They also often will hold lectures in the gallery. If you see events on campus, sometimes it will be held here on the library first floor, the gallery space as you walk in to the library. There's also the online graduate resource guide. So we will share these slides out, and I recommend just kind of bookmarking the grad student guide because it does give a number of resources to just assist with, some you're doing a research, looking at research methods, literature reviews, we do have a number of resources on those topics. And then you can always contact Brianna, who is the Graduate Student Services librarian. Yeah, great. Feel free to jump in at any time if you're online or in person, if you have any questions. Some basic
Thanks, Erin.
overview.
Yeah. So OneSearch is going to be the access point for all of our research content. So things like books, articles, ebooks, journals, a variety of other types of media. And if you are new to using OneSearch or just want a walkthrough of some of its features, there's a link here. The library.umbc.edu/tutorials/OneSearch. Those are some short videos that are kind of explainers to the different aspects of OneSearch. Again, great introduction if you're new to using OneSearch and you want a real quick overview on how it works, things like its filters, that sort of thing. So this is what you'll find when you get to the homepage of our website. That search box right there in the middle is where you're going to start your search for those things I mentioned, articles, ebooks, that sort of thing. You can view books. If you click into the OneSearch, well, I think we'll do a short demo in a second. But this is what the homepage of the library's website looks like and where you'll start your searching. So it's easy to, yeah, go ahead, Erin.
So again, I'm just going to the main library site. We're just going to do a live demo on some book searching. Want to guide the search? Sorry, Brianna.
Sure. So go ahead and type in a search, Erin, and I'll narrate while you search. How about that? Thanks for bearing with us. Normally, Erin and I are in the same place, and it's much more cohesive, but I'm at home with a sick kid, so Erin's helping us out here. So if you type in the search terms, Erin's used Olympic Games as an example. The first filtering you can do is if you wanted to see just books, you could click on the books icon at the top. You can also see there's a filter option for just articles, for journals, and for video and film. But let's start with books, if you don't mind, Erin. So the next layer of filtering you can do is along the left-hand side of your screen. You'll notice there's a drop down for things like if you wanted to see just physical items that we have at the library, you could click on that. If you wanted to see things that were available only online, like our ebooks, that's also an option for a filter. You can filter by things like publication dates. So maybe you only wanted things that have been published in the last 5 or 10 years. You can certainly set that filter. And there are a number of other ones, as you can see there, each one kind of giving you a different view of results. And you can combine filters too. You'll notice there under where it says active filters, Erin has both the filter for years and online. So you can stack as many filters as you want together. We do recommend that you lock filters when you're happy with what you have. That will tell OneSearch to save those filters for future searches until you unlock it and reset your filters.
So with that, if I were to change my search at any point, so if I was to add a term in my search, the filters would go away. It would kind of reset the whole thing. So that's why it's important if you want a specific thing like available online, if I wanted a publication date, you'd want to always select apply the filters and then lock those in. I will say also, so we have now my publication date. Also, just as it's loading, the banner below, there's this yellow banner and it says sign in to get complete results. If there's nothing you remember from today, please remember the importance of signing in. This will give you access if you're off campus. And I always do it just out of habit on campus too. It's a good idea. It's going to give you the full text, especially if you're looking for articles. Otherwise, you won't be recognized as a UMBC user and you will not get the full access to all the full text. So that is the most important thing. If you don't see that banner, you can always log in on the top right of the page. There's an option to sign in. So sorry, this is the Duo. Here we go. I'll demonstrate that too. At the top of the page, you should say your name now that I've logged in. If it just says login or sign in, that's a key to know that you have not yet signed in. So you can click on that and log in. This will also allow you to make requests from books off at other campuses like College Park or Towson University. You can get books sent if you are logged in and you have that option. There's a question in the chat. How do you lock the filters? Good question. There is a little lock located at the top of the column. And that lock icon is how you would lock the filters. And then if I change my search, to Winter Olympics, I will still have the same filters set. If I wanted to change it, I could do reset filters. Now, a lot of you obviously in grad school are going to be doing article searches. So let's take a look at the article searches. All right. So let's just say I'm looking at some peer-reviewed articles. I want the last 5 years. I have the 5-year date. I'm going to do peer-reviewed journals. There's an option to select for that. So I can apply that filter. And now I have my publication date and the peer-reviewed journals. If there's anything that looks interesting to me, I can click on it, see a little bit more of the information, and then there should be a link to the full text. A few different ways. There's usually multiple layers, right? So you can get the full text by downloading the PDF at the top or reading the article at the top or just clicking on the full text availability. So sometimes you'll see multiple full text availability. It just means that we have a number of databases that carry that specific journal. You can access it from any one of those. You can then view the PDF, download the PDF. That's probably the easiest way to save it. Then you have it on your computer. You can also use some of these options. The toolbar here is helpful. You can grab the citation for it. There's these 4 different options, APA, MLA. It doesn't have everything, but you can copy and paste the basic citation. And then finally, I will say, if you just want to grab a quick link for the article, grab the permanent link here. That will allow you to go through that paywall. You'll have access in the future. Don't ever use the link on the top just because it will break. You won't have access to it. It gets blocked through some of the authentication process. And so that link is never good. You want to use that permanent link and the citation. All right.
One thing I'll say, Erin, and Erin reminded me of this, talking about paywalls. A lot of you, I'm sure, have had this problem already. And if you haven't in the past, I know you will. So if you're doing a search, say in like Google Scholar, and you're doing research in Google Scholar, and you find the perfect article, you go to click on it and it says, log in through your institution or pay $75 or whatever. Sometimes the login with your institution works, but very rarely does it work. Most of the time, if you see those options, what you'll need to do is copy the title of the article, go back to the library's website, paste the title of the article in our OneSearch, and get the article through our website, because that will get you through that paywall that the website is trying to get you to pay for. So Erin's demonstrating that now. And while she does that, I see Lori has a question in the chat. Where does it save to? So when you click on that thumbtack button to save your article, that is going to save it to your OneSearch account. And so that option is only available if you have logged in. So we'll let Erin finish demonstrating this, finding the article, and then she can demonstrate that as well. So here you see she pasted the title of the article in and is going to find the article this way.
If you do quotes around a title, it will try to search for that exact thing. Now, sometimes, so we have over 400 databases with full text articles. We have a huge number of databases, but we don't have absolutely everything. So you might find it might be helpful for you to select results beyond USMAI. This will take us beyond College Park, beyond all the Maryland institutions, and we'll search for things beyond. So that can be helpful as well when you're looking for things. And then if you're still having trouble, this looks like it's an editorial. I'm not exactly sure. You can add the last name of the author too. Sometimes that can be helpful. So Bauman.
But this might be a good example. Yeah, this might be a good example of when you would need to place an interlibrary loan request. So interlibrary loan is a network of libraries internationally that share articles with and books and book chapters with other libraries. So if you see up at the top of the search when Aaron scrolls back up where it says ILL request, if you don't see your article show up in the list of search results, you may need to place a request through interlibrary loan. And that just has, we have some librarians who will scour their resources to find any article or book that you're looking for. If it exists in the world, they will find it and they will get it for you, usually over email. And the ILL requests are pretty quick. Sometimes it's a matter of just a couple hours, at the most a few days. Of course, if it's something that has to be mailed, you would need to allow for some more time for that. But yeah, if in doubt, if nothing is showing up on one search, go ahead and place an ILL request and they'll hunt it down for you.
ILL is great. I use it all the time. You have professors that are like, they swear by it. Like that's how they get all the articles they need. I always recommend first though, checking the beyond USMAI in the search. And then the second step would be request through interlibrary loan. Now, sometimes it will show up that we don't have it and there will be an actual option to select that. So for example, no online access, this article here. So this might be something you've actually seen before. There's no PDF, there's no download option, there's no read article option. How do you get it? So if you've signed in, this is the key. This will not show up if you haven't signed in. This is only available to UMBC community members, so not the public. But if you have signed in, it will say how to get it, and it will often have an option that will pre-populate the interlibrary loan form. You don't have to put it in yourself, and all you have to do is submit the request. So again, interlibrary loan is great, especially if you're doing a ton of journal research. It can take longer with physical books, but it is really fast with journal articles and things like that. They will just be a PDF scan that will be sent to you. And you'll get an email saying it's available to you and then a link to log into your interlibrary loan account. The first time you use interlibrary loan, you will need to set up an account. It's free, but you do need to put in your address, your name, your email, and then it does ask for a 14-digit library barcode that is available on your ID card in the bottom right above the barcode. There's 14 digits there, and that is your interlibrary loan number. Who knew? So just be aware of that.
Erin, could you, I don't know if I answered Lori's question about when you save things. Would you demonstrate the thumbtack and saving articles?
Absolutely, yes. So the question is, how do I save once I'm in the system? If there's articles I want to have in the future, how do I save them? So again, just make sure you are signed in. You can log in at the top right or the banner that shows up. Once you have signed in, you can select anything in your search items, and you can then, let's see, at the top, there will be a little thumbtack that shows up. If you've selected several of them, they'll save all that you've selected. You can add the item to your folder system. You can add it to anything you've already created, or you can create a new folder and title it, and then go back to those results in the future. Now, if you're curious about, well, I've saved some things, how do I get them? If you are on the library page, the top right, next to your login, gives you access to all your folders. You can see all the folders here. You can see what you've saved. On the top, there's a few options. You can see the individual items you have saved. You can also see what searches you've done. So if you're doing a lit review and you need specific terms, keywords, a search string, and you want to know what you searched for, you can always go back and see what you already have searched. And then you can also check out what you've looked at. This clears every day. The search history is just the items I've clicked on. So that clears every day, but this holds true. In fact, this was all the way back from November. So if you want to save a search, you can specifically ask it to save it and it will hold. And then anything I've put in my folder system is there and available. I can search through that this way by keywords and subjects. Yeah, anything to add to that, Brianna?
No, but I will say is, does anyone have any questions about how to use OneSearch? This was meant to be a really quick overview. We do have our tutorials if you want a little bit more in-depth information about using OneSearch. We also take appointments with students, and we'll talk a little bit about more of those appointments a little bit later. But if you want a more in-depth kind of hands-on one-on-one appointment to talk about OneSearch, certainly make an appointment. But does anyone have any questions?
Is everyone finding articles okay for your programs? Any difficulties you've run across or things that haven't come up? You're doing okay. Yeah.
The most difficulty has always been journals or papers which are locked behind a paywall.
Yes.
That's what's happening.
Absolutely. Yeah. So see if you can first just copy and paste the title if you're on another site. Try it in the library website. And then the second thing I would say is, I'll just do a quick search so it shows up. You can also select results beyond USMAI, and that will open up interlibrary loan options for you. So that's something I do if I'm not finding full text. Yeah. Something I'll mention, I don't see any, let's see, nothing in the chat. What are you actually searching when you do this big broad search? We subscribe to over 400 databases. These are in STEM, these are in social sciences, humanities, etc. Right? So you're doing a big general search in your search there. Here, let's do a quick artificial intelligence search. It's a real big topic, right? So you're getting things from, if you look at the subject areas, a lot of computer science, research methods, etc. You can select these computer engineering if you want to go a little more controlled. If you want to just dig down into like a specific subject area, that's one option, because you're just going to have, the next 3 million results from STEM, social sciences, humanities, right? It's a huge amount of resources. So use the filters, feel free to explore the subject areas. You can always dive in a little. I always recommend doing a more detailed search too, if you're very niche topic, right? If you're looking at maybe language processing or even using artificial intelligence as translation, right? You want to do that specific search and add in that keyword. Finally, if you do not want to do a big giant search with all 400 databases, you can do our database A to Z and just select by your subject area. Like if you want information systems, you can take a look at that and just search in some of those. That would take you to one database and you would search in one database that's dedicated to that. So just know that. Yeah. All right. The slides we'll share out, they just have screenshots of what requesting looks like. If you're looking at physical books, you can request from other campuses. And it will show up kind of where that interlibrary loan option showed up. And you'll just select request from USMAI. There's a book truck that travels around Maryland and picks up books and drops them off. And you can get your book at the checkout desk when it arrives. Obviously, your card is your ID card. It's your library card. And if you don't bring it, you can always show your driver's license or other physical ID at the desk and they'll help you out. Yeah, just general things to know about the loan periods. 7 days for media and laptops, but books you can hang on to for most of the year. So that's kind of nice. You can also renew them. Yeah. These are
We've covered
screenshots.
most of this, yeah.
We went over this with the available online, some of those limitations. I did recommend expanding your results beyond USMAI if you're not finding what you need. that's a good way to broaden the search. And then we went through some of the different ways of filtering. There's a screenshot of the lock icon. Lori, you had a question about that. So you can also select that lock icon. Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
Okay. There's a question about if you're an online student. Want to take that, Brianna?
Sure. Yeah. So that's a great point, Lori. The only time you really will need a campus ID or your ID card if you're an online student would be setting up your interlibrary loan account. I assume that information is somewhere in maybe your MyOMBC profile. So even if you don't have a campus ID card, you can still get access to that library barcode number. I think another option would be to contact our circulation desk and they can look that up for you in our system. But that's the only thing you would need a campus ID card for as an online student. The only thing you usually really use it for is when you're checking out materials in person.
Yeah, we didn't talk about advanced search. If you're involved in a big systematic review or a really detailed research project, it's something that you should just be aware of. We can always sit down with you and do more in depth, but it does allow you to do multiple search terms and do a little bit more granular searching. So advanced search can be helpful. And then if you have a specific article you're looking up, same thing, you'd want to just copy and paste the title, food culture and online rating behavior, and just type it directly into the search. Sometimes with quotes that will find the specific title or specific phrase. You can put the last name of the author, but this is what came up. This is the author. Yep, that's all right. 2022. And so that's how you could find an article that you know about already and you're looking for it specifically. A known item. Fine. We did talk about saving articles. You can download them, save the permalink. You can also put them in the use the thumbtack and create folders for yourself. And then just an emphasis that you don't ever want to use the browser on top, it will break. Use the actual permanent link for that. Another slide on interlibrary loan. So again, it just kind of comes up in the normal search, but there's a slide dedicated to it. I highly recommend it. There's professors that use it all the time. Let's make sure you get the full text for things that you need. Don't pay for anything beyond what you're paying as a UMBC student. And I also mentioned that if you want to look at our specific databases, you can do that on the databases A to Z tab, search by subject or discipline area, and that will give you access to those individual databases.
Do you want to talk about the research guides, Erin? So mentioning specific databases? We do. Absolutely. I think you skipped over it a little bit ago.
Okay, is it back here?
Back. Sorry. Yeah, that's okay.
There
we go. So we have set up research guides for every major and program and department on campus. Erin's opened up here the full list of all of the guides. So these are great for students who are new to our library, maybe new to doing research in these areas, or are curious about the different databases or books that we have available for a specific subject. So checking out these lists, a lot of them are formatted similarly. So the first page you'll see is often going to be finding articles. Here we go over some of the most popular databases, journals for any given subject area. This is also a great place where you can go to find out who your subject librarian is. And I realize this isn't something we've mentioned yet either. So every department and program on campus has a librarian who is an expert in what we have available to that department. So in this case, this is the Information Systems Department Research Guide. Jasmine Shoemaker is our IS librarian and her information is there. So if you are an IS student or are taking an IS course and you want help with research or want to learn more about library resources for your course, give Jasmine an email or set up an appointment with her, and she'd be happy to walk through those things with you. Erin mentioned she works a lot with some of the humanities and fine arts programs. I work with some science programs. So every program in major on campus has a librarian. But these resource guides are great. Again, if you want to learn more about the specific databases that are ideal for your area of study, these would be a great place to go.
So a couple PhD students that have mentioned in person, online. So you are probably working on a dissertation. If you're curious about other dissertations that have been written at UMBC, we do have a specific database for that. So sometimes it can be nice to look up your the specific UMBC databases, your mentor, your professor, your faculty member, your advisor, what other dissertations they've advised. That can be kind of something that can be helpful. You can search by keyword, subject area, topic, the name of a professor. Those are all ways to search. You can also look more broadly at just general national dissertations and theses. This could also just be if you're trying to build up your reference list or your bibliography or trying to look at other research that's been done. That would be the national database. Yeah, we've come to the end, basically. We do want to share ways to get help at the library, just generally. Kind of three main ways. There's the chat. You can ask at the desk. You can make a research appointment. So obviously, if you're online, the online chat and the research appointment is going to be the way to go. These are just a screenshot of what it looks like. The chat box pops up during the day, 9 a.m. through 5 p.m., Monday through Friday, and some 6 p.m. times as well. And then there's some selected weekends. So this is helpful if you are trying to search for something or full text. We often get questions about how do I get the link or what do I do? We also have questions about more in-depth questions like, I have a paper due on this topic. What keywords would you suggest or what databases might you look at? So whatever comes up, we're happy to help. You would just say chat and do the live chat. It's one of us that's on chat and our colleagues. It's not a robot yet. So we can help you with what you're seeing in real time. And then obviously you stop by in person. We're happy to work with you in person. These are kind of our drop-in hours. And you can obviously make an appointment that's scheduled. This could be in person, this could be online. And we can do more detailed work if you're looking at search strings or trying to figure out a literature review, organize citations. We help with citation software, Zotero, EndNote, things like that. Just feel free to reach out and make an appointment with us. Also, if you're a grad student and you have a resource that we don't have and you think it'd be great for the library, just contact your subject librarian, make a request for purchase. We purchase the books for the library and we want things that are relevant. We purchase ebooks. So if you have an ebook or a book, if it's available for us to purchase as an academic library, sometimes not all ebooks are, we will definitely purchase it. We'd be happy to do that if it makes sense with our collection. Yeah, want to share some of the events, Brianna?
Yeah, so our MyUMBC page has a list of all of the upcoming workshops this semester. It may be where some of you heard about this workshop, but it's a great way to stay in touch with the library to find out about upcoming workshops, events. The Special Collections and Gallery also will post their upcoming events on here as well. Announcements about things going on in the library, new purchases, information about our technology. I definitely recommend you follow our MyUMBC page. Yeah, and a lot of great stuff, great information on here. We do have some upcoming workshops for graduate students, including topics like research methods, different types of reviews. If you're thinking about giving any presentations on your research or making a poster to talk about your research, we have some poster presentation sessions, workshops. If you want to learn more about technical, scientific, or professional writing, we have a workshop on those topics coming up soon. Erin mentioned citation management. She gave a workshop earlier today on Zotero. And then at the end of the semester, I think our final workshop of the semester is about research organization and management. I will say all of our workshops are always recorded. All of them have an online component. So some are online and in person, like this one today. Others are only online. But we record all of our workshops, and all of the recordings will be made available on our YouTube page, which I'll put a link in the chat to that in a moment. But if you're ever curious about a workshop, but you aren't able to attend when it's going on, feel free to register anyway, and we will send you a link to the workshop. But we can only do that, or to the recording, excuse me. We can only do that though if you're registered. So go ahead and register for any workshop you're interested in. We will make sure you get a copy of the recording and the slides after the workshop is concluded. Or you can always just go to our YouTube page and see what workshops recordings have been uploaded. Yeah, that QR code and the link will take you to that My UMBC page Erin was just on.
As we mentioned, you can also just follow the library. You'll see the different events that are posted. You can see the different announcements as well. And flyer for some upcoming things. I think research methods is maybe one of the more recent, the next workshops down the road. Yeah, I don't know if anyone wants to share anything that's particularly useful or things that you've wondered about, anything that's been helpful about the library, or things you wish we had, or any comments in the chat or here in person.
Or really, this is, I guess, a great time to open up for questions. I think that's the end of the content. So please, we've got plenty of time. If anyone has questions, while we take questions, I'm also going to put in the chat a link to our workshop feedback form. We really appreciate any feedback anyone wants to provide. Just helps us always improve our workshops. If there's a topic you'd like to see a workshop on in the future, you can certainly suggest that in the form as well.
And I didn't catch everyone in person. What's your area of study? What's your program you're doing?
I'm doing MS in cybersecurity.
Okay, yeah, absolutely. Great.
Same.
Okay, great. Are you all from the cybersecurity?
From data science.
Yeah, data science. Super fantastic. It's great.
I have a question. Do we have access to like plagiarism detectors or stuff like that? Maybe Turnitin.
Turnitin. So that's a great question. That would be Brandon, offhand, do you know if campus subscribes to Turnitin software, plagiarism software?
Oh, I don't know. That might be something that you could follow up with DOIT, the Department of Information Technology. It also may be listed on their website.
So that's a great question. And actually that's the question too for the library. Do we have it downloaded on our computers? I think we might. Let me see if I can grab that really quick. You go back.
Erin, I can look for that. If there are other questions in the room, I'll look for that information.
Yeah, we'll try to figure that out for you. The software in the library. That's a great question. I often get that question at the desk actually, but it's been a while. There's a lockdown browser on some of our computers, but I don't think it's Turnitin. Yeah, and so we have students that come into the library and specifically have to use those computers. So on floors 1 and 2, there is a lockdown browser that's available for students. It's not Turnitin, but it is some plagiarism software. And I don't know if you can download it.
I'm not seeing it on DOIT's software catalog as something that is available for download.
Yeah.
But I'm still looking.
great question. Sorry. Let's just see. So this is again the software page that lists what's available.
Okay, so what I'm seeing here, and this is from Academic Integrity and the Faculty Development Center, is that SafeAssign is the preferred plagiarism detector on campus. So the language specific, I'll put the language in the chat, but it says SafeAssign is a plagiarism detection tool which is supported by Jewett and available through your Blackboard course site.
Yeah. So it looks like if you, I would search for UMBC SafeAssign and just do a search, and that should come up.
Okay.
There's a few questions in the chat. Do you know why Jewett only offers help on PCs and not Macs? I have no idea. I think it might have to do with their licensing and their contracts. Yeah, sorry about that. I think Apple's pretty strict about who can give help, so I think that's probably why. All right, yeah.
Anyone else have
you don't have
questions?
any- Yeah, we'll just be here answering any questions that come in, but thank you to all who came in person. Feel free to grab more pizza. Please grab more pizza. Grab a whole pizza, or chips for storage. Take cookies with you. Take a drink, take an extra drink, take some for friends. If you have friends, text them. Please help us get some of the pizza.
Oh, you're
Awesome. So
welcome,
we're all
Loretta.
done.
Thanks for
Okay,
coming.
next, unless you have questions. Thank you so much again.
Thank you so much for the session.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for coming.
Trash can here.
That's a good question. You have one. I think there might be one just out.
Availability of novels here.
Oh, and there's one right
Novels. Novels. Sorry.
here. Thank you. Any questions I can answer? Brandon, maybe you can turn off the recording just so that that's.
Yep, I got it.